Hey guys, Bobberfish here. Today I'll be doing a tank overview of the VK3601H, which is the Tier 6 German heavy tank. This tank is pretty much renowned in the game at Tier 6 for having a really bouncy turret and a really good gun, which is the long 88mm, which is also found on the Tiger, which is another renowned tank in the game in terms of historic value and in-game value. This tank leads up to the E75, which is the Tier 9, and then to the E100, which is an insane Tier 10 tank. So let's start off with the gun. The top gun you'll get in this is a Tier 7 long 88mm gun with a fire rate of 8.7 rounds a minute. Average penetration with AP is 132, which is really good at Tier 6 for getting into medium tanks and light tanks. Maybe not so good at penetrating all heavy tanks, especially the KB85's turret. With APCR you get 171mm penetration, which is good, but again, premium, yeah. HE 44mm, which is HE. The average damage for both AP and APCR is 220 hit points, which is good. It's not derpy, but it's not too little, so you'll be able to solidly take some good amount of health off your opponent. With HE, it's 270, which is what you'd expect from HE. The accuracy or dispersion is 0.36 meters, which is really good. That's about average in terms of accuracy for these German guns. German guns tend to be quite accurate. So yeah, that's pretty good. The aim time of 2.3 seconds, really good. It means you can just snap the gun round from the turret traverse and just hold it for a bit and then take the shot and damage the opponent. So this gun on this tank is really effective. I've got into some really good hold down positions and been able to just slice away health from all the tanks that I've met in terms of Tier 6 and below. Tier 7 tanks, not all of them are easy to penetrate. For example, the IS, I sometimes bounce that, and then even the IS-3, any of these Russian ones, I won't be able to penetrate, as well as the Churchill line, that kind of Black Prince, and the Churchill something or other. Yeah, they're hard to penetrate with this gun. So yeah, the other gun you'll get on this, which is also a Tier 7 gun, is the VUF 75mm gun with a fire rate of 14.29 rounds a minute, which is a lot quicker than the 88. However, you do sacrifice damage with this, and you also gain accuracy, which is always a good thing. The penetration for this is more than the 88 with 157 with AP. However, you only get APCR as the second option, and you get 221 penetrations, millimeter penetration. That's okay. Again, that's a lot more than the 88, and you probably use it more effectively in Tier 7 or above games. The damage is 135, which is significantly less than the 88, but as I said, you gain penetration and fire rate with this gun, so that's always a benefit. It's more accurate as well, so you'll be able to guarantee shots more, I guess. I don't really know how to explain a more accurate gun. You'll shoot more targets more effectively, I guess. The aim time's the same, and it weighs less, sorry, which doesn't really make much difference. I suppose it will speed up the tank a bit, but yeah. You get a Tier 6 gun, which is a 75mm, which is basically the same as this, just slightly worse stats. For example, it's got a slower fire rate, less penetration, it's slightly less accurate, but apart from that, it's pretty much the same. Oh, it weighs less as well, so beneficial. But then the stock gun you'll get on this is the 105. You should have researched this, I think, in the no, you wouldn't have done, sorry. The stock gun you'll get is this, which is the 105. This is the one you'll get on the Panzer IV-H. It's got a high amount of alpha damage, however it's got low penetration, so you won't be penetrating many things at Tier 6 or above. In terms of fire rate, it's the slowest out of all of the guns. highest caliber, so you'd expect a slower fire rate, obviously. It's a lot less accurate as well. A lot less accurate. 0.55 dispersion, and aim time 2.3 seconds, which is the same as all of the guns. And weight weighs 2,100 kilograms, which is a lot, and that's going to slow you down, slow your tank down. But who cares about weight? So yeah, those were the guns. Now going to move on to the armor of the tank. So the hull armor of this tank is 100mm here, which I'm going to guess is just generally at the front. Side armor is 60, and the rear armor is also 60, and then turret armor is 100 at the front with this massive gun mantlet, and then 80 on all the other sides. And I will go into the armor in more depth in Tank Inspector in a bit after this section, and then we can have a deeper look at the tank. So the signal range on this is 415 meters at the moment, because I haven't got the top radio thing yet. But if you do, the signal range will be 710 meters, which is a lot. That's pretty much 3/4 of the map, so that's good to have a good overview of the map, I guess. The view range is 370 base, and then 349 actual, which is good. Means you'll be able to see some tanks. It's a heavy tank, so you're not going to expect much view range. But as I say, that's a good thing to have. That kind of view range, I guess. Turret traverse speed of 24 degrees a second, which is pretty quick. It's not the quickest, but it's a heavy tank, so it's okay. The actual gun reload time is 7.03 seconds, which is good. So yeah, it's got 950 hit points as well. I missed that out, sorry. Which is a lot. That's probably the most, I think, for heavy tanks at tier 6. Engine horsepower of 500 horsepower, sorry. And that means it has a top speed of 50.5 kilometers an hour and a traverse speed of 24 degrees a second. Mobility really isn't this tank's forte, so to say. So you're going to probably be outmaneuvered by many things. And you only really hit this top speed of 50.5 going downhill. Going uphill you'll be going probably about 25, so it's not really the best tank in terms of mobility. Consumables, I'd have just the normal medi kit, repair kit and fire extinguisher. If you want to put premium stuff there, you can. I haven't got enough money to put equipment on, but I would have a tank gun rammer, probably have the enhanced gun lane drive and the heavy spool liner, and maybe even the improved ventilation class 3. I'd swap that out for probably the enhanced gun lane drive, or the heavy spool liner. In terms of crew, I just put Sixth Sense and then whatever you want on here. Doesn't really matter. I put Deadeye on for the gunner because I find it's really useful to be able to... Not Deadeye. Is it Deadeye? I don't know. The one that basically makes your shots more likely to do modular damage. Because I find that's always a good thing. Probably get you more experience and credits. So yeah, that was the VK3601H in the garage view. I'm now going to go into Tank Inspector and have a quick overlook of the armour and how to use it effectively. So yeah, see you in a bit. Hey guys, I'm back. So this is the VK3601H in Tank Inspector view. As you can see, there's probably this really big weak swell up here, which is the cupola at 80mm, which isn't the 100mm that it says in game. However, the 100mm armour on the turret is around the edge of the gun mantlet. The gun mantlet itself is 194mm at the edges, and in the middle probably around 100mm, ranging to 135. If you get into a hold down position, you'll be able to use the turret really effectively, and you'll be able to bounce loads of shots and still pump out the damage. The front armour of this tank is only 100mm at this area here, with a higher armour equivalent here with 154 to 167mm, and the lower plate here with 120mm, which isn't what it says in game, because in game it says the front armour is just generally 100mm, which isn't right. So you actually get more for your money, so to say. This angled area here is 132mm, maxing out at about 138, which is really good. The reason why this lower armour value, or the lower armour, as you can see, wait here, 67mm is what it should be, The reason why this is increased is because of the angling of the armour, which makes it more thick, because it does. On the lower plate here, there's a auto ricochet area, which means you're just going to ricochet anything that gets shot at it, which is always helpful. At the side of the tank, you have this large flat area here with 60mm of armour all the way around. This is going to be easily penetrated by any tank that a tier 6 tank will meet, so that's a downside. Unless you side scrape, of course, around corners, then you'll be able to use the side armour effectively and you get quite a few auto ricochet areas. Of course, the tracks on the side here, they take up quite a lot of the space, and they will basically soak up any shots taken at them. You'll get a damaged track if you get shot into them, and you probably won't be damaged. You probably won't lose any hit points, which would be good. This weaker looking area here is actually 122mm and is one of the strongest areas on the VK in terms of side armour. And that's always a beneficial thing, because people will look at this and be like, oh, that looks weaker. Because I've had that before. I've had many people try to shoot into here and they just haven't penetrated. The turret is 82 to probably 84mm on the side, which means you're probably not going to bounce much from the tanks you're going up against from the turret, which is always a good thing. However, there's this auto ricochet area here, which is tiny, probably not going to get shot at though. There's also a cupola, and that ranges from about 80mm to 90mm, with an auto ricochet area right on the side. I think somewhere there. The gun, this area here, easily going to be penetrated by most tanks, and you'll probably get damaged gun as well, so that'll be a bit annoying. And then that's the side of the tank. At the back of this tank, you have a very large flat area here, which goes from about 60mm down at the bottom to 90. This is because it's angled. Easily penetrated again. You're probably going to be set on fire if you get hit in this area, because the engine is basically here, which is bad. And then this upper area, sort of in the middle between the turret and the lower back bit, is an auto ricochet area because it's so heavily angled. It's this bit here, right in between the turret and the bottom bit. So that's going to be penetrated quite easily. Not easily, quite difficultly, if you're being shot at from the behind. Unless, of course, they've got an upper slope on you, and then they're going to penetrate quite easy. The turret is going to be also easily penetrated from behind, as it's 80mm. This is probably going to be penetrated by lower tier tanks between tier 5. Isn't going to be penetrated by tier 5s and 4s. However, tier 6s and tier 7s, maybe some tier 5s to be honest, will penetrate that. And the cupola again is 80mm, but ranges to about 150 on one of the sides. Yeah, about 150mm. So that's the VK in a deeper view in Tank Inspector. If you want to use this tank effectively, I would recommend side scraping and getting the gun round a corner like that, and making sure that you have the wall in between you and the front of the tank, so you can get high amounts of armor equivalent. As you can see, auto ricochet area all along here, which is a really good way to use your side armor effectively. It won't increase your turret armor, however, having the large amount of side armor that's been auto ricocheted is always good. So I'm now going to go into a game where I show off some of the armour and the gun of this tank, and yeah, let's get into it. So this is the game I'm going to be showing you. It's on the map Muravanka, and it's an encounter battle. As you can see, the matchmaking is good for my tank, not so good for some of the birch guns down there. But yeah, it's an even spread of heavy tanks, light tanks and medium tanks, and there's artillery on both teams, which is good. I don't like this map personally, but in this tank it's really good. There are some great positions to get hull down, and good areas where I can use the armour of this tank to its most effective. I'm going to be heading off to the west side of the map, where I can get into a hold down position, where I can get some shots in on the cap if anyone tries to cap, and also into the town, and onto any tank destroyers that are camping out on the H row. HD Chaffee there looks really good. Well done for the guys at Wargaming for that. So we have kind of an even spread of the teams. We got about 50% going into the 50% who are covering the forest on the east side, and we've got around about 45-50% going down to the west side, which is the area that I'm going to. We got that T28 in the centre who's just checking that there's going to be no one in the town. So I'm going to be getting into an area around about E2, which is where I can get into the hold down position and shoot at any tanks that I need to. Seeing as I'm a top tier heavy, it is my role to sort of lead the battle in terms of pushing and being kind of like the foundation of the team in terms of damage and position holding. So there's this Chaffee here, which I'm going to take a shot at. It's a snapshot. If I should have left it a bit longer so I could have fully aimed on him and pretty much guaranteed the kill, but that's okay. There's a Kiho up there and a Chinu, both the Chinese tanks. Now looking over to the east side of the map, we can see that the people in the forest are kind of outnumbered by tank destroyers and heavies. They're probably going to lose that side, so we'll have to push on this side, make sure that we can win this side and cap if we need to. One of our guys is in the cap, he's keeping the pressure on, which is good. And then there's this Kiho up here, which I think I can take a shot at eventually when he pops out. Get the kill, which would be helpful. So we've got a Chinu and a VK3601H here, who have pushed up and are pressing on the cap. Take the shot here, get the kill. Now I'm in the hold down position here, where they'll only be able to shoot at my turret, which means that I've got my strongest armour showing the tanks, which means that it's going to be harder for them to penetrate and damage me. Took the shot there at the Chinu. He about half his health has been wiped out, and then I take a shot in from the Hummel, the artillery. Hate artillery, it's annoying how they can just shoot over like that. But yeah, the penetration of this gun is really good. Getting a decent shot into the turret of that VK. It's got the stock gun and the stock turret, so it's not got the full armour that it would if it was a fully researched VK, however, still good enough. So I tried to get that kill shot on that Chinu. Take him down to a really low amount of health, 5 health. That's just a piss take personally, but you know. So I tried to push round this corner, get a shot in on the VK, take a bit of his health off, and now I'm just waiting for my gun to reload so I can take the killing shot. So there's that Hellcat up there. He takes a shot at me. He penetrates. He would penetrate. He's a tank destroyer. He's got a good gun. It's a bit unfortunate though, I missed that shot. He ricochets off my turret or the back of my tank. I can't quite see there, but I think it's the turret. So again, I'm getting into a hold down position where he won't be able to shoot any of my weak spots. The Hummel again takes a shot at me. I take a shot at the Hellcat. I think that one went in. Take another shot at the Hellcat. That one goes in too. Keeping the damage on, keeping the gun firing, which is always good, which means I'm going to be having a good damage output. I now, in the cap, I'm capping the base, so I'm going to be the main target for this Chinu Hellcat and now that SU-100Y that's just appeared. However, he seems a bit occupied with getting the M6, so I take a shot at him, take a good bit of his health off, and he survives, unfortunately, eventually. Drives off, and I think he gets another kill. No, he doesn't, does he? Then he gets wiped out by our friendly birch gun. So we've still got that Hellcat up there. The Chinu, just getting wiped out. So we've only got one threat on that side. He's the only tank left. And I've been able to get some decent damage in. 1,984 so far. Which is quite good for a player like me who doesn't tend to play many heavy tanks. So I'm quite pleased with that. So now we're just waiting for the Hellcat to be spotted. Any second now. Now he should be quite... Yeah, there he is. The pressure's on him because we're on the cap. He takes a shot at me, but I've got enough health to survive the shot, and I take a shot at him. And that was the game. So that was a really good game overall. I completed heavy tank mission number 6, which was to kill 2 heavy tanks. And yeah, I'm going to go into the post-battle report screen. So this is the post-battle report screen. As you can see, I've got a 2nd class mastery badge, fire for effect, and damaged a range of tanks, as well as getting 25,888 credits, 1,690 experience, which is pretty good. In terms of the team, I came 2nd in terms of damage, kills, and experience, but that VK 3001p, had a really good game, so well done. As you can see, did 2,107 damage, which is really good, and blocked 940 damage overall, which I'm really pleased with. So this has been Blobberfish. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.